You asked, I answered. You asked again, and I answered again. You asked for a third time, and sure enough, I responded. Now you've asked for a fourth time. Your question's answered. And I'm going to be truthful with you. You guys, gals, and other had some really, really good ones. Except for you, Jared. What the fuck? Hey, my name is Mr. X. Welcome to the Extreme Channel. We are giving away $1,000 statues to you guys. If you want to know how to win one, stay tuned for later in the video. Hey, thank you for tuning into the Extreme Channel. One of the things I love about having a smaller YouTube channel is I get to interact with all of you. Whether it's you just sitting there listening to me, you putting thoughts and questions below, or even meeting some of you in real life, like recently at New York Comic Con. At least recently to when I'm filming this. But unfortunately, I don't have the opportunity to go on a lot of live venues where people can ask me questions. So I started this series, Your Questions Answered. And we are now on the 4th episode. And if you remember, every question is on the table except where do I work? Why do I not talk about where I work? Well, I actually answer that question in this video right here, which I'm going to be straight with you. I try to preemptively answer a lot of your questions in videos, but sometimes I can't. So episode 3 actually just launched a few days before I'm filming this. And you asked some awesome questions. I saw a few of them, and I just copy and pasted the rest. So we're going to go through them today. And just like last time, watch till the end. And if there's a question you have that I didn't answer, throw that down in the comments below. Not only for episode 5, but that comment could win you a statue. As we try to grow this channel, we like to reward you guys for watching and subscribing. So because of that, every 5,000 milestone when it comes to subscribers, we give away a couple $1,000s worth of statues. We've actually given away over 20 statues. To win one is easy. First, you gotta be subscribed to the channel. You'll get bell notifications when videos drop. Each video that drops, you wanna make a comment on those videos. We pick a random video, we give away statues based on a comment. You can say whatever you want. The more videos you comment on, the higher your chances are to win. All right, Half Drawn has the first question here, and Half Drawn is amazing. He comments on every video. A lot of you are amazing, so if I don't say that about you, it doesn't mean you're amazing, except for you, Jared. But he asked, if you could have a diorama made of any scene, I assume in statue form, or characters created, who, what would they be? What obscure character either has not been made yet or not readily available? Well, I actually have a video right here. I don't know how quickly this is launched in relation to this video, but it answers of what statues I want made, and it talks about dioramas, single characters. But I would love, kind of a spoiler alert, I think on that, a 1/3 scale alien queen. That's definitely on the countdown in that, so spoiler alert if you haven't watched that or it hasn't launched yet. Maybe with the Ripley scene, so a 1/3 Ripley in it. I know it would be huge. I'd have to figure out somewhere to display it. That's the problem with these giant elaborate dioramas. There's almost nowhere to display it. So I don't even think I would choose a diorama, but the obscure characters or characters I want made, there's a great list coming up in that video. Office Arcade, episodes are great. Thank you, I appreciate it. Daniel, if all these are fantastic people, by the way. If you could have any power, what power would you choose? That's a good one. Oh, I think I would choose the power to be able to selectively read people's minds. I wouldn't want to do it all the time because, quite frankly, I wouldn't want to know what people are thinking. But I would use it in business situations to my advantage and at the poker table particularly, because I wouldn't want invulnerability or anything like that. I would like to age with the people I love in my life. I wouldn't want to be around, but yeah, I think superpower, that's what... He didn't say superpower. Well, I'm going to go with superpower. Polly's Hideout. Is there an older statue you wish you bought in the past and trying to hunt down? There was for a long time. I really wanted Pumpkinhead from Sideshow, the original one, but now that PCS made a quarter scale, which I have and love, I don't think it's as good as the Sideshow, but it's 1/4 the price. And then, of course, PCS has their 1/3 scale coming out, which I think could give the Sideshow a run for its money. But otherwise, most of the ones, especially early in my collecting career, I would track down and I would buy, and sometimes I paid way over. Big Evil Network says, why is Gamora? I'll do you one better. How is Gamora? George Moss, if you could have any toy line from your childhood, what toy line would that be? That's a great question. So, I'll tell you kind of my favorites from my childhood. I loved the G.I. Joes, not the big dolls, but the articulated, smaller 6-inch figures. Had a lot of those. Had Muscle Men. Battle Beasts were really cool. And then had like Silverhawks and Thundercats, Thundercat toys. I'm trying to think of some nostalgia stuff that I've bought here. But it'd be one of those probably for sure. What's the most valuable lesson you've learned in life? And also, are you optimistic or pessimistic in regards to the future of the world and the country? So I'll answer the second one first. I'm very pessimistic. I think we're going down a route that's very, very scary. I appreciate the different things that are happening in the world, and but I don't like how it's being forced upon people that you're intolerant unless you believe exactly what I believe. And I mean, by the way, that's the exact definition of intolerance is not allowing people to believe something different than you do. But if you believe something different than other people do, you're deemed intolerant, which is so ironic. So like I said, I think our world is changing what's acceptable. And if some people want to believe that, that's fine by me. But I don't have to believe it. And I don't have to interfere with your lifestyle. But unfortunately, that makes me kind of the bad guy and the black sheep, I think. So I'm very pessimistic about the way the world, the country is going, the world and the country. What's the most valuable lesson I learned in life? I think the most valuable, there's a couple of them. I actually just answered this in a professional setting. I think one of them is there is no ceiling, that you can always do better. That's better in relationships, better financially, better professionally. There's always more. The second you cap yourself, you're going to lose. I also think my wife has taught me some amazing things. I think she's taught me what real love is, and I appreciate that. I've talked about that in a few videos. But I've done a few videos on life lessons, I think. Michael says, hopefully not too personal, curious what the cost of the most expensive dinner you've treated someone. That's a hard question because I've done it personally and professionally. And when I've done it professionally, sometimes it's a company I own. So technically it's my money, but it still comes out of company funds. I would say, for my wedding, I paid for a $4,000 open bar. Annually, I take people on a trip for $250,000. That's company money, kind of. I have equity in the company. But just to like friends, like, hey, we're some friends out having a good time. Probably 1,500, maybe 1,700 was probably the most. But there's quite a few of the $2,000 to $10,000 dinners. But I'd say almost all those were professional, with the exception of my wedding with the open bar I paid for. What's the best life lesson or piece of advice your father taught you? Okay, that's a good one. Growing up, not very close to my father, but he told me one thing that resonates, and it's kind of humorous, but it's very, very true. He said to me once, we didn't have the greatest relationship. He said, if a monster is chasing you and you're running for your life and there is a 20-foot bottomless pit you have to jump over, and you jump 19 feet 11 inches, you almost made it. Because I told him, and I don't even remember what it was in response to, but I told him, well, I almost did this. He goes, almost doesn't matter. And unfortunately, he's true. It doesn't matter your intentions, but almost doesn't matter. And I think there's even a song to that. So thank you, not Morgan Freeman. That was a good question. These are all great questions. Famous El Guapo, if I ever see you in a business meeting, I'm definitely going to go up to you and say, remember rule number 1. You got to watch the previous episode 3 to understand what he's saying. Wing Fu Adam, who just won one of the giveaways down in Australia. I hate it when people from overseas win. That costs like $600 to ship. I'm glad he had it, though. He showed pictures. It was awesome. Have you seen the Terrifier movies? I haven't. If you have, what do you think of the Art Clown? I'll have to try and watch them, especially I'm filming this 10 days before Halloween. I'm watching some horror stuff. But I know everyone's talking about them, so I'll have to check them out. What do you think the best new comic book character out there is? Said Zealous Metallium. I'm sure I'm saying your name wrong. The newest comic book character? Oh, that's a tough one. I'm going to go with Punchline, even though I'm not a huge DC, because I think she's what they wanted Harley to be originally, because Punchline is even more sadistic than Joker, in my opinion. Punchline is almost scary reading her in the comics, to be quite honest, and I think that's what they originally wanted. Master Musa says, by the money you are spending, how can you not buy a Lamborghini? This is from the previous video. You can get one for $200K. You're absolutely right. You got to rewatch that video, Master Musa. I said, and the ROI. The amount of time I would be able to drive the Lamborghini is 5 times a year, and I don't have like a garage storage shed. I have a normal 3-car garage. So really, it would just be taking up room in the garage, unfortunately. And also, while the Cybertruck gets a ton of attention, I think a Lamborghini would get more. Daryl, if a werewolf bit a non-human, do you think it would become a werewolf? Uh, if so, would it change completely into a wolf or be a 50-50 like gremlin-shaped wolf? I don't know, Daryl, but I would love to become a werewolf that I could control. I wouldn't want to, eat my family. Daryl always cracks me up. He likes green phallic stuff, by the way. That's a joke from like 5 years ago. He used to comment on the channel, so longtime follower. Appreciate you, Daryl. Lex Prime Collectibles, another strong supporter of the channel, asked, does B Mother still do reviews? He used to do lots. He changed his YouTube name, but I've never heard of why he stopped. Also, he wants a free statue. Yeah, so my last video, they asked who my favorite YouTube statue people were. I loved B Mother's reviews. They were kind of my go-to. I've never spoken to him in real life. I ran into him in a Comic-Con once, and we didn't speak, but I think he's just out of the hobby, or he just doesn't get in new statues anymore. I know he used to get in a lot of XM statues, and when I'm filming this, it's during the XM controversy, so maybe that's what's going on. Steve Donnelly just commented. He's a big supporter of the channel. Appreciate that. No questions. Paul, imagine you're granted a wish where you could bring any statue to life for 24 hours and the character has the powers. Which one would it be, and what would you do? What would you like it to do? Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. This has a lot of parameters, Paul Walker. Like, I'm looking at Yoda. It's like, could he teach me to use the Force? But the Force isn't real. I have Professor X back there. Could he figure out what other people are thinking for me? You know what? I'd probably do Nightcrawler, and I would teleport into a bank or somewhere. I wouldn't steal money from good people. I'd have Nightcrawler teleport into some terrorists and steal all their money and bring it back to me so I could retire. That's my answer. Corey, good, nice stuff. You're a brave man to do this. I don't really think so. I'm a brave man, but not to do this. Mr. 49er, thanks for sharing. What's the latest stupid things you've seen people do that annoys you or pisses you off? I'll come back to that. His is two people leaving a Starbucks cafe with a sign on the door that says emergency exit only in front of them. They push the bar and the emergency alarm goes off at Barnes and Nobles. They stood there hearing the alarm going off. They backed away saying sorry about that and went out the front entrance. Most people don't read signs even while walking. Oh, I could have a huge list. So Mr. 49er is referring to this series right here of stuff people do that piss me off, stupid people. I haven't made an episode, I think, in about 6 months. But there's been a lot lately, especially with the travel. New York Comic Con was one. I had to give others a lot of forgiveness at New York Comic Con. I just had to remind that some of these nerd boys, and I include myself as a nerd boy, this is like their fantasy, their Christmas. But I don't know. I don't want to be in a bad mood. It's early Friday morning, so I will make another episode, though. I probably not till 2025, because 2024, believe it or not, all the YouTube stuff is already scheduled. Peter at Triple G Comics. Love Peter. Check out the video him and I did together on his channel. He has a great channel. He says, great vid. Who's a popular comic character you just don't get? That's a good one. That's a really good one. I'm looking around at my statues, and I'm like, I probably wouldn't have a statue of them if I don't get them. I'm going to say it again. I don't like Iron Man in the comics. I just don't. I loved RDJ and Tony Stark as him, but I didn't get him in the comics. It was weird to me. There's probably a better answer than that, but that's the one off the top of my head. This is where I should probably do research on these questions and not look at them fresh during the video. But hopefully that answers your question, Peter. I probably got some hate from that. Higher Life Form Studio says, what does Mrs. X spend money on? Groceries and kids. That's about it. She's pretty low maintenance with a few exceptions. She likes a nice house, she likes a nice car, and she likes jewelry. And not so much that she's buying it all the time. She is not too happy that I purchased the Cybertruck because she wanted a new car. She has an $80,000 SUV. That's about 5 years old now. But there you go. My voice just cracked. Phil McCoy says, my question is, if you were to meet Mrs. X for the first time tomorrow, what would your first date be this time around over how your original date was? All right, so my original date, We met up. I picked her up. We went to a wine bar. And then we went to an Italian restaurant, then to a movie, then to a bar. And I could tell you a ton about that, including the fact that I ran out of money, including the fact that some of my friends sabotaged us at the Italian restaurant. But that was back then. That only cost me like $100 for the whole night, and it was all the money I had. But man, that's a hard one. I haven't thought about dating. I got to be honest with you. If I was interested in somebody, we would do a really high end steakhouse, most likely, and then we would do some kind of crazy experience. You know, anything from indoor skydiving to just something really, really cool and unique you don't get to do in a while. So I think now that I have different resources, yeah, it would probably be $1,000 date as opposed to 100. Not to mention because of inflation too. Good question, Phil. Thanks. Warwick says Hot Toys was his gateway too. If you could go back not knowing what a rabbit hole is and this hobby is, would you stop yourself? I don't think I would, simply for the fact while I do regret I've probably lost tons of money, I found the passion of YouTube and I found the community, and I still love these statues 10 years in. But I'm the type of guy, I would have some type of other hobby. Some of you know my hobby before this was poker, so it would have been filled in with something, and I think this is, despite the loss of money, a decently constructive hobby. Pennicole just commenting, usually asks questions, thank you. Zeberg says, which predator or alien statue do you treasure the most, and which one are you willing to sell to me? Right now, none willing to sell to you. I'm going all out on Alien Predator. That's kind of my biggest focus right now. I actually just unboxed an alien statue last week. I have another one that hit the port yesterday, and then I'm getting tracking for another one. Which one do I hold most dear? That's kind of a difficult question. I would say I like the aliens better than the Predator because I like the movies and the creatures better. Big Chap from Prime One Studio. This statue right here is pretty iconic, but I wouldn't say I hold it dear. I think I'm still waiting on that alien statue that just blows me away, which is why I have more on order. And the Prime One Predator line is obviously awesome as well. Sorry, couldn't really answer that. Captain Mooney Moon, love your name. Do your kids ever mess with your statues? Have they ever broken any? They don't mess with them. They don't really care for them anymore. However, when they were younger, I've been collecting for 10 years, so they're teenagers and they were young. One time, my son was down here with me, and I asked him to go around the corner and get something. Well, he was gone for a long time, I noticed, and I walked over, and he's walking back, and you can tell, if you're a parent, you can tell something's wrong. And what he had done is he had knocked PCS 1/3 scale Goro. He'd knocked his hand off, and they're notorious for having weak hand magnets, and it broke the thumb. And he started crying right away, and I was dad of the year. I told him, I don't care about that, I care about you. And all I was thinking is I lost so much money, which I ended up giving that statue away after it was repaired anyway. But Q Jin HQ, what's the coolest gift you've ever given away or received that's not statue related? Most of the cool stuff I receive are a little low maintenance. Like I'm wearing some slippers now that I fucking love. I mean, it's just little stuff like that that Mrs. X thinks of. I wouldn't say, most of the big gifts I've received are stuff I bought for myself, so it's not as special. As far as given, I'm actually going to tell a story I've never told before, and I'm going to say this because the person watching, the person I'm going to talk about, doesn't watch his channel. I don't even know if they know about it. But we had a tight-knit group of friends, and financially, one of them didn't struggle by any means, but didn't have the resources I did. None of them had the resources I did, but they were supposed to go on a vacation, their first vacation in years, and their transmission went out in their car, and they had to cancel their vacation and even lose the deposit. So Mrs. X and I went to the bank, and I think it was it might have been 10,000. I don't remember. We got a cashier's check, and it was hard to do a cashier's check anonymously. Nobody at the bank even knew how to do it. They had to get it done kind of crazy. And we sent it to them via certified mail, which we also had to do anonymously. And he went and posted it on, and to this day, nobody knows it but Mrs. X and I, and you guys. And then he posted on Facebook when he got it in the mail, and it was a picture of his family crying. And How cool is that? And it's like I believe in an afterlife, and I believe this guy and I will be there, and maybe that's when I'll share it with him. But otherwise, I just making him that happy made me more happy than you can imagine. I think you can see it in my face right now. And for the record, no, I will not send that to any of you. But it was just the right thing at the right time and the right opportunity. Lethal Venom. What's the one place you have wanted to visit or vacation but haven't due to work constraints or distance? Great question. Australia, 100%. I'd put Maldives with that because it's essentially 2 to 3 days of traveling each way, and I don't like to spend more than 8 or 9 days away from work, even though I can work remotely. But those are huge for me, and when I go, I want to spend the proper time there. Despite wisdom, what was the best restaurant you went during your NYCC? Oh, so this year, that's a tough one. I would say we checked out Mason Pickle. I only ate out like twice. Mason Pickle was it had a really cool, different vibe. Had this pull apart bread. They were known for some crazy, elaborate dishes, but Mason Pickle, 100%. Shiny Shiny is always being serious. Said if your own reply to a comment came up on a statue giveaway, would you be legally required to give that statue to yourself due to lottery laws? Well, I'm pretty sure you're from outside the U.S. No, there are no laws regarding my giveaways. The giveaways just have to be something of chance. So clearly that is. If my name came up, I would not give it to myself. To be honest with you, I've given away about 20 statues. One came up to a guy who talked trash on the channel. I still sent it to him. Didn't even say thank you, but oh well. Jumping down, this is episode. You guys are asking so many great questions. This episode is taking forever. So again, throw questions down for the next one because I want to keep doing these. Marcos from Collector Zone, who I've met in life multiple times. Awesome, awesome dude, awesome company. Do you collect or will you collect anything else besides statues? Currently are thinking about jumping into. I used to collect weapons. You guys know I collect CGC comics. I collect autographed memorabilia. While filming, I couldn't come up with a good answer, but during editing, I remembered I already answered this preemptively in a video. This right here you can check out, and it answers your question, Marcos. Great question to end on. This is probably going to be a long video. I apologize for that. But hey, if there's a question that didn't get answered, throw that down in the comments below for episode number 5. Thank you to everybody that participated. I really appreciate it. For the rest of you, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Hopefully you get a little bit of insight into Mr. X. Really, I am a cocky ass, but who you see is what you see is what you get. So appreciate you, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.